Welcome back to the Table Rush Talk Show, everyone. I'm your host, Mischa Zvagansoff. In today's episode, we're unpacking the secrets of your website's hidden potential. I had the incredible opportunity to chat with C.J. Gilbert, a mastermind in website development and the brains behind Ask a Web Geek. CJ has been transforming the digital landscape for over 2 decades, teaching entrepreneurs to view their websites not just as digital brochures, but as their most powerful business tool. Get ready to explore the 5 critical strategies to turn your website into a profit-generating machine. So without further ado, let's dive in. CJ, welcome to the show.
Hello. Thank you so much. Thanks so much for having me here.
Yeah, indeed. And, I was prepared with my questions, and of course they disappeared, but now I've got them right in front of me.
Good.
Let's just jump right into what you do. Let's just get after it, CJ. And actually, before we start, anybody can go to askawebgeek.com, askawebgeek.com, and they can follow along and see the fun things that we're talking about.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Where do you want me to start with just the story and how it all came to be, maybe?
Well, maybe I think let's first, before we tell your story, why don't you talk? I know you're very passionate about a website, being like the number one tool to help us entrepreneurs, coaches, consultants, authors. It's such a valuable tool. So maybe let's just talk about that. Like dive into that. You're obviously passionate about it, believe
Absolutely.
in a website as a tool. So, and then we'll talk about how you got into it. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I started my own company in 2006 through a series of events. I was in one industry and had some situations that happened that led me to open up my own company and start working with local business owners on their websites and offering website design. And as I started to ask them questions about their needs and what they wanted from their website and their goals and their target market, I got a lot of blank stares back. And I recognized in that moment, a lot of business owners were kind of like me in that they opened a business because they had some kind of skill or interest or something, a service they could offer. They could bake cupcakes, they could fix cars. And so they opened a shop to do that thing, to bake cupcakes and fix cars for people. But really quickly, you find out it's so much more than doing that one thing or providing that one service. You're actually now running a business, and you have to think about marketing and websites and all this other stuff that, quite frankly, if you know how to bake cupcakes and fix cars, you may not have gone to school for business. I didn't go to school for business, and here I am opening up my own business. So I recognize the stuff I'm learning as a brand new business owner about what do I need to do. And then I'm asking these people, they didn't know either. So we're kind of all starting from, knowing nothing about business, right? So that's kind of how it started. And really quickly, I recognized that it was on me to teach people what they could do with their website and what was the importance of their website. Because another thing that I saw really quickly is that people kind of just lump the website together with their business cards. I'm going to open my business and I'm going to get some business cards and a website, maybe a brochure, and then I never have to think about those things again. I can just focus on what it is that I do. And it became my mission. It became the thing that I needed to teach and preach, to recognize and help people recognize that their website is so much more than a thing they do one time and then forget about. It's actually become more and more important as we've gone further into this digital age. It is your real estate. It is your soapbox. And this is my number one message that I preach and teach. So if you don't hear anything else from the podcast today, hear this one thing. Your website is the only thing you can fully own and control online. I'm going to repeat that on purpose so it really gets in there. Your website, your own website, is literally the only thing you can fully own and control on the internet. And isn't it true that every other platform out there is telling you to come to their platform and build up their website? And see, there's a little truth hidden in that. So it sounds true because if your customers, if your potential customers are over on this platform or that platform, you want to be there because that's where you can connect to them. But I always encourage people, don't put all your business eggs in someone else's business basket because you don't have control over that. That can be taken away from you at any time. And at the end of the day, the only thing you can own and control is your own website.
And they the social media giants,
Mm-hmm.
do take people down. They do shut people down consistently, constantly, on accident, out of nowhere. It's such a big machine right now, the
Mm-hmm.
social media machine, that you inadvertently or vertently, purposely trigger something, you'll get shut down. Facebook, uh, YouTube, Instagram, any of them, TikTok, you can get banned, you can get shadow banned, you can get your account shut down, you can get your ads shut down. Yes, speak to that.
Yeah, absolutely. And people get really upset about that. And to them, I have to say the exact same thing. It's their website and they fully own and control it. And we can't own and control what they're doing on their website. And when you use someone else's website, you're agreeing to their terms and conditions to make use of their platform, their product, their service, their website. So we want to use those platforms to engage with people where we can, but we always have to remember we don't own that. We don't control that. We've got to bring them back over to our own website, our own email list, a place where we can continue the conversation outside of the control of those other platforms and entities.
I love it. Do you have stories, personal stories yourself where you've been shut down, or do you have any of your customer stories, or do you have any like real time stories of that happening to add
Yeah,
some spice to that?
I have. Yeah, I'm sure we've all had, personal experiences like that where I've known of people in the last 3 years that they had built a really big business on Facebook, or they had created a Facebook group and they were pouring all their energy into this Facebook group and enrolling members and getting people involved and the engagement and the community and yada da da. And then they said something on their personal profile that didn't align with what other people thought, or didn't, whatever the case is, they were reported, or, people didn't like what they were saying, and they essentially got their account taken away from them. And when you lose your personal profile, you lose access to anything it was connected to, which includes your business pages and your groups. And they had to start over with a brand new Facebook profile and start up again from scratch, losing all that previous group.
Yeah. Yep. Um, I'm thinking too, I loved what you said earlier about the idea as of a website as your business card. And if you're of an age, which is actually not too long ago, so we don't need to
Mm-hmm.
be that old, but where it was, hey, it's just the website is just in effect putting your business card online.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm
Mm-hmm.
hearing you say it the way it's developed, and clearly all of us have seen it develop, is we have to be much more tactical, much more strategic than just having our website on uh, our business card as a web page. Yes.
Right. Absolutely. And that's the second thing that I really teach people. After they recognize the importance of their own website that they can fully own and control, then we have to get into, well, what can you do with it? What's the point of it? And that's where I teach people. The second thing is your website is a powerful tool to grow and support your business. And if you think of it like that, it can help you do these things: attract more customers, make more sales, improve your customer service, and all of those things increase your efficiency, which increases your productivity, which helps you save time, save money, and ultimately serve your clients better, faster, and easier. So if you start thinking of it like this kind of a tool, then you'll start using it like this kind of a tool. And that's the key. People who think of their website like a fancy business card Well, that's what it is. For them, it's a fancy business card, right? It's got their name and their phone number and maybe a little bit of about information. But when I teach people to think of it instead like a sales tool, then it all of a sudden becomes so much more powerful, because now you can picture your website as a 24/7 customer service agent that is always available to that person. And here's the really cool thing about it. It is a no pressure sales opportunity. In other words, people are coming to your website on their terms, from their place. They're in their home, they're in their office, they're kicking back on the couch with their shoes up, doing a little research, trying to figure out who you are and what you're all about. So they don't have that wall that comes up when you talk to a salesperson and you put the wall up right away. They don't feel that way because they're doing the research. They're on the prowl for the information. And we just happen to have set all that information out right over here on a silver platter for them to come discover. And they come along and find your website and they get to read all about it. So it's the perfect win-win opportunity. We can set right out there what we want them to have. They're looking for it. They want to do their due diligence to research and make sure they're making a good buying decision. And that's when the two things link together and the magic is made. It's a no pressure sales opportunity where they're in their own home environment with their walls down and they're learning about you. And your website is doing all that selling for you while you're asleep or while you're in the backyard playing with your kids.
Mm, I love it. I have a couple questions written down, and you have some interesting perspectives. So I'm going to let you pick which way to go.
Sure.
And one question I had was, where do most entrepreneurs, authors, coaches go wrong when it comes to a website? And maybe before we even dive into that, we should talk about websites. There's all these different names for websites out there right now. We've got funnels, like that's the big thing right now.
Sure.
Funnels, the illusion that that's actually different than a website. It's
Right.
all kind of the same. So maybe talk about, maybe we can get everything on a baseline. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Great question. And I love how you just said it's an illusion that it's something different. You're absolutely right about that. And so I'll speak to that. And the place where we begin is I always start the conversation with people in one place with two questions. And that is, what are your goals and who is your target market? And we bounce back and forth between which one of those we start with and then which one we go to next, because they really do go together, because it all depends on who is your audience. Everything is about your people, your audience. So to answer the question you asked a second ago, what's the biggest mistake people make? The biggest mistake people make is thinking their website's all about them. It's not. It feels like it is, but it's really not. Your website should be all about your customer. And everything should be put in the terms of the customer or the user who's coming to your website. All of the language of the website should not be I and me and look how great I am. It should all be in terms of you and your and what we can do for you and how we can work together. It should all be phrased in terms of that person, not of this guy. No one really cares about me. They care about what I can do for you. That's what it's really all about.
Love that. So what are your goals and who are your target? Let's I heard you say those two important questions. Yes.
Absolutely.
You want to dive into that a little bit?
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
because I love the idea about goals. I'm just sitting here thinking, going, well, wait a minute, what is my goal? Right. And how many of us probably
Great
would go, what
question.
is our actual goal with the website? Yeah, so go ahead.
But before we leave today, I'm going to offer your audience my free video workshop. It's a 7-part video series. Each video is about 10 minutes, and they really cover everything we're talking about today and more. So I'm going to offer that before we leave. But we begin with the conversation of goals and target market. And I say right from the beginning, if you don't know what your goals are yet, that's okay. Watch the 7 videos and then come back to the first one, and then you'll know what your goals are. And because there's that blank look I was telling you about, right? When I sit down with someone and ask them that question, because they don't even understand. They're like, goals for my website. I've never even heard of that before. But
So go. Sorry.
I was just going to say, but when we start talking about it, it makes sense, because you want your customer to do something, and chances are your customer wants to do something on your website. and don't make them guess. Just tell them what it is. Do you want them to pick up the phone and call you? Do you want them to, do a free demo or try something or sign up for something? And that's really the purpose behind the concept of the funnel. The funnel is we're sending people to something, we're directing them to something. And really, your website should be your funnel. It should be leading the customer along the path, one step at a time, to get them further along the process. And so to me, there is no difference between a funnel and a website. A website is a funnel, and a funnel is a website, and a website should be a funnel, really.
Yeah, I love it. And when you talk about goals, so the goal could be we're talking literal, like a literal goal. I want a customer to pick up the phone and call me. I
Sure.
want a prospect to book a time on my calendar. I
Yes.
want a customer to opt into my email. I
Mm-hmm.
want my customer to download this. Perhaps it's even I want my customer to hit buy.
Yeah,
Yes. So those
absolutely.
are really what you're talking about when
Those
you
are
say
great
goals.
goals. I think most people's goal around their website, around their business website, has to do with sales, has to do with leading the customer through that sales journey until they sign up and they're your customer. But it doesn't have to be the only goal. Some other goals may include education or entertainment or providing resources or providing links to other tools or services or whatever it might be. So your website probably has a few goals attached to it. You probably want to provide some information and resources to that person that's just kind of browsing, and they're going to appreciate that you've done that, and then they're going to want to check out who you are and see what credentials you have and see if there's someone they want to do business with, and then they'll make that buying decision. Here's one of the things that we teach people when it comes to thinking of their website as a sales tool. People choose the familiar. People choose the familiar. And this is a beautiful thing. When they're in their own home office and they come to your website, they're getting to know you. They watch a video, they look at some pictures, they read a couple pages. And while they're doing that, they become a little more and a little more familiar with you. And the idea is, when they're ready to make a buying decision, they're gonna go inward and rely on that feeling that they've created for you to make that buying decision. We used to think that people made buying decisions completely off of facts and logic and reason, and we know that's not true at all. People make their buying decisions completely off of how they feel about something, and then they justify it with the facts. And I say we do both with your website. We give them the facts, but we also let them get to know you so they can make that buying decision.
Love it. Give me 3 minutes on target because you said who's your target or who are your target?
Absolutely. And for some people that might be one specific group of people. For some other businesses, you may break it down into, well, I have 2 targets, I have 3 targets. The more specific you can be as you think about who your target audience will direct everything else in your marketing. And not all of these factors are important to every business, but some things you may include are they male? Are they female? Are they married? Are they not married? Are they divorced? Are they just divorced? Are they remarrying? A particular level of education, a particular geographic education? Do they have kids? Do they not have kids? All of these kind of, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Demographic
Demographic.
information.
Yeah.
Yeah. Their level of education, their level of income. All of those things may or may not apply to your particular business, but the point is figure out what does apply to your business so you can really drill down who is that exact person that I want to reach. And I would say go so far as to even give that person a name and picture him or her in your mind. Because if you can picture Sally Jane, who has 3 kids and is just divorced and lives down the street and goes to church, and you see her show up at church every Sunday in her minivan with her 2 kids, that gives you a real clear picture of who you're looking for. And the magic is in all the rest of your marketing efforts, whether you're writing copy for your website or you're writing an email or you're writing a social media post, you can picture that person in your mind and speak directly to her when you're writing. And that's the magic of knowing who your audience is. And then you can create everything else for that person.
I love it. It's so powerful. And then you're literally speaking to that person. And when that person sees your website, sees your copy, sees your message, they
Mm-hmm.
are literally going to feel like you are speaking directly to them.
Absolutely.
They're going to think that person, CJ, is talking to me. H is
Absolutely.
talking to me. I like to the psychographics. There's the demographics, of course,
Hmm.
age, income, where do they live,
Right.
things like that. But there is the psychographics as well, which could be maybe we could speak to psychographics a little bit, or does that term make sense to you when I say that?
Yeah, any of the factors that really help you identify who is your specific audience, the people you're looking to connect with. And the other thing that I'll mention at this point is sometimes people they balk at this concept. They push back at me and they're like, I want to serve everyone. I want to serve anyone I can. And it makes me think of that referral opportunity where we're in a networking meeting of some kind, and you're standing up to tell me who the person is you're looking for. And we've all heard these people that are like, I want to serve anyone with skin or anyone with a spine or anyone with teeth, and we all laugh, how clever that is. And then we think of nobody and we provide zero referrals to that person. Because when
Mm,
you tell me to think of anybody or everybody, who am I thinking of? Nobody. But
nobody.
if I tell you to think of that lady that shows up at your church on Sundays and Thursdays in a minivan with her two kids and she's going through a divorce, chances are you're going to think of someone like real specifically. Or if it's not this exact person, it's someone real close. Oh, well, she has three kids. Oh, well, she's, your brain immediately starts filtering. Well, who do I know like that? Right?
Yeah, it's like when people tell you there, there's the thing, don't think of a pink elephant, and your
Yes.
brain goes pink elephant, right? So
Right.
you paint the picture of that person.
Right.
Now subconsciously, that referral partner is it's jumping in. Yet don't think about
Absolutely.
white Teslas in your neighborhood, and now all we see is white freaking Teslas,
Exactly,
right?
right. Or the opposite, right? Look for red cars and all of a sudden you see red cars everywhere, right?
Yeah,
There's a phrase for that. I think it's called I'm gonna try to be real smart and come up with it. I think it's like the reticular activating system or something like that. I think that's the term in your brain that does this filtering for you.
yeah. Um, so what stops most business owners from making progress?
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. The hustle and bustle of life and being a busy business owner is really challenging. And one of the things that I see that happens to a lot of them, including myself, is you sit down to try to accomplish something for your business, whether it's your website or your marketing or really any topic. And all of a sudden you start listing out all the stuff that's a part of it and all the many steps that are involved. And you get totally overloaded and you just shut down and you do none of those things. So it's important as the business owner, as the CEO or president of our own company, we have to have that 30,000-foot view. We've got to know the general scope of everything, but then you have to force yourself to narrow in on the one next step that you're going to take and just take one step at a time. So it's very challenging to say, look at everything and then focus on one thing that you can do next. And that's my biggest advice is just keep taking one step forward because that's what adds up.
It's so powerful, and it's such a great place to work from. And if you're doing the one next step and you're documenting a little bit, and when I say documenting it, maybe you're like on your calendar, here's today's step, or here's
Mm-hmm.
week's step, or
Mm-hmm.
this week's step. You get to check it off and feel like you're making progress. And then, as we all know, those steps add up. Oh my gosh. What's this?
Absolutely.
Yeah, what's
Absolutely.
this?
I'll give you an example. Like the video series I'm talking about. You're going to watch the first video and it's going to be like, what are your goals? And you're going to be like, I have no idea what my goals are. So you're going to watch the rest of the series and you're going to find out we can work on what I call your search, your sales, and your service. So you can go through the video series one time just so you can understand what those things are. And then you're going to start it over again. But this time you're going to know which thing you want to work on. Oh, I want to work on my sales next. And then you'll go through the course again, just thinking about the sales piece. And you'll take one step to make your sales process better or more efficient, or you line up the steps, or you just begin to think of your website as a tool that can help you not only with all your sales process, but the specific steps. What do you need your customer to do first? What's the next step after that? What's the next step after that? You can create pages in your website that help you with each of those steps. So that's like one thing you could work on for a week or two. And then you'll want to take another step. You'll come back and watch it again. And this time you're thinking about your search. And now you can come back through your website and think, what content do I want to add? What questions do I want to answer that will add really good, valuable content to my website that now makes me show up better on the search results, which gets more people in the door, and then they can take advantage of the sales process. It all works together. You just have to pick one and get started.
I love it. So powerful. So many of us create a website, create a funnel, create this business card or this souped up business card or this tool that can literally create sales for us. It's
Mm-hmm.
so powerful what a
Mm-hmm.
website can do, what a funnel can do, call it what you will.
Yeah.
But how do we get more people to come to our website, right? That's the key question, one of the key questions.
That's right.
Maybe speak to that a little bit.
Absolutely. Everything that you put into your website acts as bait. I use a little bit of a fishing analogy. Everything you add is another line that you've cast into the water. And one of the great ways that you can do that is to create a services page, which lists all of your services. And then you could create a page for each one of your services so you can talk more about that service. If you do that, you're automatically using the right language and the right keywords and the right phrases all around that service. And then if someone goes to the internet and they're doing a search because they're looking up information about that service, wouldn't it be great if right then your website popped up and said, oh, there's information about that service you're looking for right here on this page. And then Google or the search engine delivers the person right to that page and they can start reading about it. And then they're like, who's this person? What am I doing here on this site? And then they go to your about page or they go to your home page and they've found their way into your web because you offered the information out there. They were looking for it and then they came and found you.
Amazing. I know you speak to directory listings or social media or the importance of using your website as a media hub.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Directory listings, is that what you were saying where you're putting your services on your web page so it becomes SEO rich or search engine optimization rich,
Yeah.
or directory listings is something else?
A little bit of both, to answer your question, and I'll explain a little bit. So the first thing that we got to talk about is this phrase SEO. People toss this around, SEO, search engine optimization, and I jokingly and seriously say it is the snake oil of my industry. It is this weird magic thing in a bottle that everyone's trying to sell you that you don't really know what it is or what it does, but people are talking about it. It must be important. So here's a guy knocking at my business door asking for $1,000 to do this. Maybe it's a thing I need, but you don't really know what it is or what it's doing for you. And so SEO really comes down to two things: on page and off page. I'll define those for you. So on page is the majority of the work. That's everything we're doing on your website itself. That's the benefit of creating multiple pages that address certain things. You have an about page that talks about you and your company. You have a services page that gives an overview of your services, but then you have individual service pages that just talk about one particular service. That right there, that's SEO. That's setting up your website with a good hierarchy of information so that when people are looking for stuff, they're going to find it in the right place. And to take it another step further, it's the benefit of creating a blog or a place where you can continue to add articles and more information, because as you identify who your target market is, you start to ask yourself, what information would help that person? What could Sally Jane need next? And even if it's not a direct service that you offer, you might still be able to publish some kind of information on your blog that would still appeal to that particular demographic. And that might be the thing that gets them to your website that then finds the service that you do provide. So it's all about connecting the people you're here to serve with what they need and what they're looking for. So all of that game is on page because it's on your website. But there's another piece of SEO that people don't know anything about right now, and that's off page. And what that means is everything that's outside of your website that points back into it. And this is where we have to start talking about directory listings. So this is the thing that people know about, but they don't know that they know about it until I explain. So when I first say directory listings, they're like, I have no idea what that means or what you're talking about. But what they do know is they can pick up their phone and they can say, bagel shop near me, plumber near me, hair salon near me. And your phone just magically gives you a list of businesses that are near you. How does that happen? Well, it's witchcraft and wizardry. No, it's not. It's not. It's directory listings. And what that is it's websites and directories and map listings that list your business. You know about Google, Facebook, Yahoo, Bing, Apple. Here's another thing. They all have their own. So if you're on an Apple phone, you have an iPhone, you're searching the Apple directory. If you're on a Google phone, you're searching the Google directory. If you're on a Microsoft Windows phone, you're searching the Bing directory. So it gets even trickier. And then all the directories look at all the other directories to make sure they're listing the correct information. Business owners don't even know this is a thing that exists right now. And what's happening is people's directory business information, it's getting like mismatched and scattered as they change their address, or their business was here and then they move over here, or they had this phone number and then they changed to that phone number, changed their website, and now all of a sudden they have different listings with different information and it doesn't match up, and your customer is confused, Google is confused. So the best thing, the harmony of the situation would be if all of your listings had the right name and the right phone number and the right address and the right website, and then all of those link back to you. And the magic of that is it does actually give you a boost to your SEO. If now all of those 60 to 80 directory websites now properly link back to your website, that's a good boost to your website. So that's where people are searching for you. They're using Alexa, they're using their phone, they're using one of these other sources. Your business has got to be correctly listed in those directories for them to find you.
Cool. Thank you for that little bit of a deep dive on
Absolutely.
page, off page. It's good
And I've
stuff.
got videos on all of these topics that people can help themselves to.
Cool. And we'll share that link at the end, and it
Good.
will be in the show notes. So we'll
Good.
make sure that everybody can check it out. Quick in regards to the traffic and how do we get people to find us? What's the one thing that's working best in your business right now to get people to find you? Like what's really working for you right now?
I would say number one, you want to have a Google My Business page. And this is another thing that the name of it has changed over the last decade a couple times. It's been called Google Locations. It's been called the Google Map. It's now called Google My Business. And I think they're even changing it now into the Google Business Center. I don't know what they're going to call it tomorrow, but the idea is you can go to Google and you can register your business into their listing. Now, I offer a service which I help people with all the 60 to 80 listings, but as a great first step, you want to go to Google My Business, which as of today is business.google.com. And you can create for yourself a free listing on the Google Maps. And that's the place I'd recommend that you get started. And I have a video that shows you how to do that too, if you want it.
Awesome. I can't wait to go dive into these videos myself. I have a quick question for
Sure.
you in regards to the Google My Business. So you teach business owners, entrepreneurs, speakers, coaches, and authors how to think of their website like their number one business tool. And now we're talking about Google My Business. So when I think of Google My Business, I'm thinking of plumbers, hairstylists, restaurants, these physical locations
Mm-hmm.
where services are provided.
Mm-hmm.
But perhaps you're saying, well, I work with business owners, entrepreneurs, speakers, coaches, authors.
Mm-hmm.
Should we be setting up Google My Businesses as well?
I'm gonna answer it with a little bit of a caution, because the truth is Google can change what they're doing and how they're doing and what they recommend at any moment. So, the little asterisk in the corner here is this information can change at any moment, right?
Good for 30 seconds.
Right? Up until now, Anyone can create a Google business listing, and you don't have to show a physical address. Yes, if your business has a physical address, you absolutely need to be on that map. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you've got a physical business, you must be on every map you can get yourself into to get people through the door. So the next question is, what if I don't have a physical business? Previously, if you had a business address, you can use that as your Google business location. And there's been a little bit of a uproar in the Google business world in the last couple months. They're debating whether they want to continue to offer, like if you have a PO box kind of address, they don't really want to show that on the map anymore. But what you can do is you can create a service area. So write that down. Here's the key. No matter where your business is located, no matter whether you're working out of your home or an office, no matter whether you choose to have your business address published or not, you can still create a service area. Your service area might be all of the US. If you're offering, a digital service like mine, I can help you anywhere in the United States, right? Because we can work virtually like this. But I also have a physical location. So you can find me on the map, but I can really help you anywhere. And that's the beauty of the service area.
So if we are able to help people like you across the United States, should we not put a physical address and only put a service area?
I would say if you have an address that you do not mind being published, like a physical location or a mailing address, leave that publicly available, I would say, but also include your service area. So, for example, that plumber that you mentioned, they might have a physical business location. It might be, here's their shop on the corner, their office, but chances are you're never going to go to the plumber's office. You're calling them to come to you. And that's the magic of the service area. So I'm in San Diego, so they could say my service area is all of San Diego. Or you could even draw it on the map. I only want to work in this half of San Diego. So you get to define what your service area is so that when people in that area are doing a search for you, they'll find you.
Okay, great nugget. Let's say you work from home and you have a home address for what we do. Opinions on using your home address as your business address?
Some people have no problem listing their home address publicly on the map. I see it all the time. I personally don't like to list my home address on the map, but because I have a business address, I can use that one. Here's the next thing though. Just because you've created a Google My Business listing, you do not have to display your address. You can still register your address with Google so they know where you're doing your business, but there's a little checkbox that says, hide my address, or I don't take business here. It's a little checkbox that just basically tells Google, don't show my address. They still have it so they can mail you the postcard that says, do you really exist here? But you can choose not to show it and instead just work off of the service area.
Interesting. I'm thinking about, I have my own personal conundrum. I have an LLC registered in Wyoming, and that is like my official business address.
Sure.
Right. So I guess that's what I would put, but perhaps I don't share my address. Then they send the Google My Business card there.
Right.
And that's how that would work.
Exactly.
Can you change your address in the future if you want to?
You can.
Okay.
Yes, you can. And I'll just mention that this is primarily a location-based thing. So if you're a place that has multiple locations, let's say like a Denny's, you'd want to have a location for each one of your actual physical locations. So if you're just like one main company like you and me, and we have our corporate address, that's the one that's going to show up and you can add your service area. But if you're like a Denny's, you'll still have your corporate address, but then you're going to have a location for each one of your actual business locations. Each one of your franchises has their own location.
So you would in essence have, if you had 100 branches, you would have 100 GMBs or Google My Businesses.
Exactly. Yes. And you manage it all from one dashboard, and then you just plug in all the addresses of where each one of your locations are.
Cool.
And that's why when you flip open Google and type in Denny's, you get the map that shows up with the dots all over it, and they know where you are. And then they'll, here's the closest one, or you may want this one, and then you can click directions, and it gives you how to get there.
Cool. Thank you for that. So you're known for saying people choose the familiar, and what do you mean with that? And talk to me about that.
This to me is the number one thing that I want you to repeat to yourself when you're thinking about using your website for sales. And anything that you can do to help people become more familiar with you, the greatest way you can do that right now is video. If you can see me and hear me and watch me speak or teach on a particular topic, that immediately helps us build more rapport. You feel closer to me. You feel like you know me. And because I've been following my own advice, I've been seeing this happen. People will go through my 7-part course, or they'll watch some videos on Ask a Web Geek YouTube channel, and by the time we actually get on the phone together and we're talking, they already feel like they know me. I've never actually spoken to them like from my side of the conversation, but from their side of the conversation, we've been hanging out for hours or days or maybe even weeks at this point. So it's a crazy thing that happens with video and podcasts. It's a really intimate media, and you develop an incredible amount of rapport with people before you even meet them. It's amazing.
Great, 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 great term, great tip. I want to be cognizant of time, so I want to make sure you get to speak on the power of a website as it
Mm-hmm.
relates to improving customer service and efficiency, productivity. Talk to me about that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. This is often overlooked. When we talk about websites, people are right there with me on the sales conversation because that makes the most sense to them. People are coming to their website and they want more sales. But as I start to talk about this next piece, it often makes some more light bulbs come on. And that is, your website is also a customer service agent for you. Again, 24/7, it's available for people to find what they need. And if business owners will say, I don't know what we need. I don't know what they're saying. I say, let's talk to your secretary. Let's talk to your receptionist. Who is the person that's answering the phone over and over and over again? Because she's going to know exactly what people need and exactly what they're asking, because she picks up the phone and answers the same questions 100 times a day. Yes, we're open till 5. Yes, we take credit cards. Yes, we're down the street. Crossroads here. Directions here. Yes, we're open till 5. Yes, we take credit cards, over and over and over again. If you can put that information on your website, something magical happens. Your customers can now go directly to this source to get the information they need. That's great. It saves them time, but it saves you and your employees even more time, because instead of having to pick up that phone and answer the same question 100 times, people will still call asking it, but maybe only 10 times. So now she or he can use that time for something else. You've automatically increased the efficiency of your employee if they don't have to do that same repetitive task, because your website is already doing it for you. And
Yeah.
a great way that you can do this is by creating an FAQ, a frequently asked questions page. And here's what I recommend when people are thinking about this. They're like, well, I don't know what the questions are. Great. Let's talk to the secretary or receptionist. She's going to know exactly what the questions are. She knows everything. Let's talk to her about what the information is. But the other thing I recommend is give people some should be asked questions, because what's often true is, you don't know anything about my industry. You're coming to hire me for a service because this is something you don't know about. And that's true with all industries. Often your prospective customer doesn't know enough about your industry to know what questions they should be asking. So if you can come right out of the gate with the list of these are questions most people ask, you're saving them some time, you're saving them some face, because all of a sudden they could be like, oh yes, I would have asked that if I would have known better. And now they feel more knowledgeable. Now they feel more in control, and they appreciate it because you've slipped that information to them on the down low, and educated them at the same time you're providing information. It builds even more rapport. They appreciate that even more.
That is so, so powerful. I know that sometimes I'll need something. I'll come across a product or service that I need quickly. And so I'll do some quick shopping. And then
Mm-hmm.
you go to buy, and inevitably I ask, what should I be asking you? Like
Yes.
what question should I be asking that
Yes.
I'm missing here? And so that's such a powerful tip, or call it what you will. You could even call it the should be
Absolutely.
asked questions section. People would probably read it more too,
Yes.
right?
And I'll just mention it. This is an amazing place for other keywords. In other words, you may talk about things on this FAQ page that you don't really address anywhere else in your website. So it's just another opportunity to put some more bait, another line in the water about something that people could be looking for, and they do a Google search and they end up over here on your FAQ page. I'll just I'll just say it in plain language so you know what I'm talking about. Not everyone enters your website through the front door. In other words, if we meet face to face and I say, hey, come to my website, jungle-studios.com, you might type that in, you might come to the homepage. But if you're not in that situation, if you're searching for information and you ask a question to Google and Google finds the information on my FAQ page, Google is going to drop you right on the FAQ page. You've skipped the front door, you've entered in through the side right to the information you're looking at. So that's just another thing to keep in mind. Not everybody comes in through the front door, but there's so much value there because that person is looking for something specific. They find something specific, and now they start looking around your website, having already found something useful there.
Good, 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 good. Cool. Thank you for that lens, or that perspective of how
Absolutely.
people are finding what content they're finding and when. Really quick, maybe in 3 minutes or less, what's one of the things that stops somebody, an entrepreneur, a business owner, from creating from creating their website or getting back into their website? Maybe they made their business card 10 years ago or 20
Mm-hmm.
years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Is it that people, they don't think it'll be good enough, my content won't be rich enough, I'll look bad, or what's what's the hang up there?
That's a great question. And the answer that's coming to me is I think a lot of people have the idea that it has to be perfect right from the beginning, or they have to do all the stuff or whatever the stuff is right from the beginning before they launch it. And I want to turn that idea upside down and emphasize that your website is alive, just like your business is alive, and your business grows and changes over time as you respond to your clients' needs and you add a service and you lose a service and you do something new. Your website should reflect all of that. As you add a service, you add it to your website. As you lose a service, you lose it from your website. And I want this to just factor right into what I said about taking one step at a time. What's one thing that you can add to your site today? What's one thing you can remove that no longer applies? And just let yourself build it over time. So this idea that it has to be perfect or it has to be whatever it has to be from the beginning, it doesn't. It's okay if it's just if today all it is a business card, that's okay. If all it is a logo with your phone number, that's okay. That's better than there's nothing there. And then if tomorrow you can add another paragraph or another picture or another video, that's progress. And that's what I really want to focus you in on doing, one step at a time.
Fantastic. My next thing that I think that people question or think about, or that I think about
Mm-hmm.
too, is it's like the tax side of things or the cost to manage. Like I can blow that out of proportion, or I mean that's got to be another hang up that we have, yeah?
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah. There's a lot. The tech is confusing for most people. It's even confusing to talk about within the industry because certain terms and certain phrases can mean different things to different people. So the first thing I tell people when we're talking about is this stuff is horribly confusing to talk about. And, don't feel stupid for asking a question about something you don't understand because no one understands it. So absolutely. We have to start talking about your website hosting and where your website lives and your domain name and your email address. And that can be confusing because those could be at three different companies or they could all be at one company. So this ball of yarn, it can get really complicated as we start to unravel it, but we can unravel it, I guess is the point. And we just start with somewhere and just work our way from there.
That one task at a time
Yes.
mentality, the task at a time mentality. I'm just thinking as we record this, and I've been in funnel land for so long now, and online marketing for a bunch, for the last 5, 6, whatever years it is.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, yes, let's talk about a website. It just is so funny to me that we're talking about websites, and it seems like it should be a passé conversation or an old conversation, but it is just striking to me. And it's so poignant how,
Hmm.
oh my gosh, so many of us entrepreneurs, business owners, coaches, entrepreneurs, local small business owners are really failing or missing an opportunity or missing the ball, missing the boat
Yeah,
on having a good, robust website.
right.
Aren't we past that conversation? Clearly, we're not.
We're not. We're not. And whether you want to hear me say this or not, whether you like it or not, people are going to judge you and your business by what your website looks like, because that's all they can see. That, they're going to hear about you or look for you. They're going to come to your website and they're going to decide by looking at your website how professional you are. And for some people, they're going to be like, well, that's not fair at all because I don't know anything about websites, but I'm a super great contractor. Okay, but they're not looking at your contractor work yet. They're looking at your website. So if it doesn't match the professional quality of the service that you provide, it's not going to connect with people and they're going to go look for something else.
Yeah, and I'm thinking it's money left on the table or opportunities to serve left on the table as well,
Yeah.
right? So we could have a fine, robust business without having a website. But if we're truly here to serve and level up and grow, even who we help, how we help them,
Yeah.
we're missing out on an opportunity to serve by not having a nice little website, or I shouldn't say little, but a robust
Yeah.
website that
And
represents us.
it comes down to your own perception of what it is, right? Which takes us back to the first conversation again. If all you think is that it's a business card, that's all it's going to be for you, and you'll never try to make more out of it. But if you begin to see it as potentially a powerful sales tool, well, all of a sudden it becomes more important to you, and you're willing to invest a little more time, a little more money, a little more energy into it, which is then going to give you better results. It's guaranteed to, because you're looking to use it and improve upon it.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's good. In 3, 4 minutes or less, do you have any favorite customer stories of people who you've worked with, and perhaps they started by watching your videos and then they worked with you and you helped, perhaps even transform their business or
One of my favorite customers, and I'll name drop them, is Becker's Catering here in San Diego. And I love how they use their website. I've been working with them for years now, and we've built a really incredible website together. I've done all the website stuff, but they do all the menus and the catering and the restaurant, right? So between our partnership, we've created this amazing website that's really like a menu. You can come to their website and it's not just one menu, it's all the menus. So you can look at the barbecue, or you can look at the wedding packages, or you can look at the sandwiches, or you can look at the Greek or the German food, all depending on the catering that you want at your event. And they're so smart the way they've done it. They've got their rentals, they've got their linens, they've got the napkins, they've got the colors. So you could be in their office with them. They'll sit you down at the conference table, and then they'll pull up the website on the huge screen on the side of the wall, and they're using the website in their office with their customer to walk through the menus and talk about all the different options. They can do the same thing by the phone. They can tell you to pull up the website and click on menus and click on barbecue, and which of these options do you like, and which of these sides do you like, and do you want to add some desserts? Click on desserts. Oh, you want extra appetizers? Click on appetizers. They're using it as a tool, and it's incredible to watch. They're my favorite because they're doing it. They're doing it.
oh my gosh, I just had this vision of a webinar where where they're helping 40 people at the same time plan plan their
Wow.
their event,
Yeah,
right? Their catering needs at their
right.
event. Oh my gosh, you could do one to many with
Hmm.
catering. Wow.
Yeah, and
Just go
that's
ahead.
the power of a well built website.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
CJ, this has been so much fun, and we could talk for hours. And I do want
Absolutely.
to, yeah, I do want to say we met at a networking event, an online networking event that you
Hmm.
ran so beautifully. And what attracted me to you and wanting you to get on my shows. So you're a master at what you do. You're a master at talking about what you do. And you just served at such a high level on that networking event. Anybody listening, watching, whatever, you just need to know. CJ is the man, knowledgeable, just moving from the heart and giving and serving in such a powerful way. So where can people watch this video series?
Absolutely. I'll give you 2 resources and you can find everything else after that. So to start with the video series, you're going to go to mywebsitesafari.com. Mywebsitesafari.com. And that's where you can sign up for the video series. You're not going to get spam email. You're not going to get junk sent to you. You're going to pop in your email. And after I check to make sure you really do want to get it, you're going to get the first video sent right to you, and you walk through it at your own pace. So start there so that you can get the best foundation information about using your website to the fullest. And then after that, come check out the podcast and the YouTube channel, Ask a Web Geek. You'll find a link on that website or in the email, or you can just go over to YouTube and search Ask a Web Geek. And what you're going to find there is videos on topics of all kinds. So I've got a video on website versus funnel. I have a whole playlist on SEO topics. I've got my 3-part SEO strategy that's part of it. Topics on, the many of the things we've covered today, hosting versus domain name, which do I want a .com or a .org? I've had all these questions thrown at me, and I've got a video that answers them on the YouTube channel. So learn about the website and then come on over to the YouTube for all the rest of the questions. And you'll find all my contact information and socials, so you can ask any other questions you have after that.
CJ, thank you so much. This has been amazing. Thank you for the insights, the tips, all that. And I'm going to hit stop and we'll say goodbye offline.
Thanks so much, Mischa. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Table Rush Talk Show. For resources to help you sell your stuff, go to belove.media/resources. That's belove.media/resources. And be sure to subscribe, comment, 5-star, and share. Thank you again for listening.